listen to this. If you agree, just please share. I think this is the only way. I think with the impending AI job losses, I think it's time that when we come out of this winter, that there's drastic change. So, if you agree, share it. Share it as much as you can. And I know the algorithm's going to suppress it, but I think this is the only way. I think people need to start coming to grips that after this winter, when people come out of this winter, I don't think it's going to be good. I think you're going to see energy prices pushing people to the brink. We're going to see inflation because we just keep printing money. Inflation again, massive inflation, because we're printing money because the banks right now are effectively cashless. I know that that's hard for people to understand, but they are effectively running cashless, and we're printing money to prop banks up so that they have money to loan. And there's various different reasons. The mortgages that people are locked into at 2 and 3%. Um, it's not creating situations where they're selling and then they can redo another mortgage at 6 or 7%. It's causing the banks not to get a good enough return with that 2 or 3%. So we're printing money. But I think what is going to ultimately happen, unless there is some drastic changes, I think people are going to come out of winter like they always do, and they're going to be down, mentally distressed, and they're going to be ready for change. And I honestly don't think that I don't know that we can recover and save what we think we can save by voting our way out of it. I think what needs to happen is the collective bargaining system needs to take place again, and I think it needs to be nearly nationwide. And I understand there will be people in situations that aren't willing to risk that, but it needs to be a nationwide strike. Um, all workers in all fields. Perhaps those that are already unionized, maybe not. I'm in a union, and I think that we are worth more. But if we're going to constantly talk about reinvesting in America, it starts with pay. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, as soon as we get paid more, um, inflation's going to spike. Well, it's been spiking without getting paid more. These are just facts because we keep printing money. We have money that's it's becoming worthless. If we come out of spring and we're at 85% of what the dollar's worth, 85 cents. It's not sustainable. We would have been well into a depression years ago, probably a full on depression, had we not printed money and given the illusion that we do have money when in fact we don't. We have a currency that's not backed by anything. Um, and I think we do need a great reset. If you are essentially crippling the economy because the workers will not make it run, um, that's the only way that we get out of this. Not only the debt. You want to talk about the deficit that does impact. If the workers came together, that does impact what the debt truly is, and that 38 trillion becomes peanuts. Essentially, just it evaporates. Um, it devalue we did devalue the dollar, um, and we reset. This country cannot continue with 60% of people working paycheck to paycheck, which will creep up to 70, which will creep up to 80. It just cannot. You cannot. There's not enough for the billionaires and these giant corporations to be able to spend on. I mean, they're spending on data centers, but that's ultimately something that's not even in our best interest. And I know people are like, well, If AI comes along, we could get universal. We're not getting universal basic income. If they were concerned about the well-being of America, we would already be receiving wages that are fair, and we wouldn't see these massive monopolies. And I think people need to come together and say we are no longer going to accept these terms and conditions, and these monopolies need to be completely busted. And that's essentially BlackRock and State Street. They have to be busted up. They are in every facet of the economy. Uh, it's disgusting if you start looking at how many controlling shares they have of every company in the United States. They are creating the conditions that we're in. They are able to manipulate prices, so that even when demand is down, when demand is down, they can still keep prices up because they control everything. And you see this with food, and food's an easy one because it's something that people need every day. And you see this in energy; it's something people need every day. And people are going to talk about gas prices and all that, and I could go into how OPEC is ultimately screwing us and our lower gas prices because we're not going to be drilling as much, and we're not going to be ultimately refining as much because OPEC is flooding the market, that ultimately we're not drilling and we're not getting that natural byproduct, which is natural gas. And those are going to spike significantly. But when OPEC decides that they are going to cut off the flow, we are going to be in a big problem again. We could see gas prices approaching $4, $5, $6 a gallon because we have cut our ability to refine. We have cut our ability. It's not profitable to drill wells right now. It's just not. You're at like negative $7 a barrel right now, and if OPEC keeps pumping, it's going to get worse. So you're not going to have American companies running at a loss. They're just going to shut down and continue. But all this comes together. If you really want to cripple, these companies and take the power back, it's through strike. It's through nationwide strike. Ultimately, I'm 100% certain this video will get suppressed. They've been suppressing me a lot lately, and it's probably with my stance of the country that starts with an I, ends with an L. My negative stances, or my negative stances against this administration. But ultimately, it's the striking that needs to happen. The people need to collectively come together and say we've had enough. And maybe when we come out of this winter, being as down as people get, I mean, winter affects people mentally. Maybe we will finally get out in the streets, and enough people will say we've had enough. And you don't need 75% of the workforce. We're talking 30%. 30% completely shuts down everything. And they're going to fearmonger, and they're going to say it's your fault, and the economy is where it's at. But ultimately, do you want to continue down this road where the blame is constantly getting pushed on other administrations, left, both sides, right? Or do you want to take control and reset and take the power back and demand that laws are in place that protect the consumer? Those are my thoughts. I would like people to share this as much as they possibly could. If you think this is where we need to go, because I see hope when I see progressive candidates come in and say we're going to try to change things, but I also see a DNC that is fighting tooth and nail not to allow that change because they want to keep things in the middle. The middle doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't. So if you really want true change, it has to be the people taking the power back. This is not retaking our government by force, but it is retaking all aspects of this country back with money, and they can't survive without us. So if you agree, share, keep resharing. But I honestly think that's where it needs to go.